Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. We are marching forward here with Julius Caesar. We're going to review Act 2, and then we're going to start Act 3. Only 5 acts. We're over halfway through. You're going to actually kill Julius Caesar today. Okay, that'll take place in the next video. This first video is all about reviewing Act 2. All right, so our pun of the day, 1/5 of people are just too tense. Yeah, too tense. I know. All right, so purpose, of course, is to learn how Shakespeare uses elements of drama and to compare these different mediums. We're going to do this through text analysis. Why are we doing this? Because authors' decisions about craft and structure differ amongst texts and contribute to the meaning. So we're going to evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of presenting a topic through different mediums. We're going to analyze the representation of a subject in 2 different artistic mediums. We're going to take a look at the drama, what the script says. We're actually going to take a look at the film and an article and seeing what's emphasized, what is absent. That's where we're going to head. That'll take place in the next video, the Ed puzzle. So as a quick review, we need to remember that Act 1, I call Act 1 for or against. We find out who's for Caesar, who's against Caesar. The whole play starts with the commoners and the tribunes. And the tribunes, these soldiers, are against Caesar. They think the common people are stupid, that they're just hypocritical because they were praising Pompey, and now they're praising Caesar. Well, Caesar had Pompey murdered. So they're like, how can you praise both? You know, that they're just out there to celebrate. They're just out there to party. And so the people love Caesar, we find in the first scene. And remember that Shakespeare provides us with this first scene focused on the common people as a warning to the people to connect to his audience, saying, hey, you, the people of the Globe Theater, have a job to do because Queen Elizabeth is going to die without an heir to the throne. Do we want to end up like the Romans? You know, focus on these people. You can connect to these people because they have power just like you do. So that's what we saw there in the first scene. It's just these tribunes condemning the people. Then in the second scene, of course, we finally get our main characters. We see Caesar, we see Mark Antony. Antony and Caesar, of course, are tight. Antony is a lot younger. Brutus, remember, is Caesar's best friend. And Brutus is very honorable. He wants what is best for Rome. He's not sure whether he should assassinate Caesar or not. The people crown Caesar 3 times. And Cassius, of course, hears this and so forth. Cassius thinks that Caesar's getting to be too powerful. And so he's trying to drum up a conspiracy. Then in scene 3, of course, remember the thunder and lightning are portentous. They're foreshadowing doom and gloom for Rome, that there's much conflict ahead. And Cassius meets with his conspirators. They create a plot to get Brutus on board by writing fake letters coming from the common people, trying to get Brutus to join them. And so, of course, that's what they end up doing. So Act 2 is Brutus's decision. We find out whether Brutus is on board with the conspiracy or not. Of course, we know from history that he is. He will literally stab his best friend in the back. Okay, but we need to see how that happens. So in scene 1, of course, it's Brutus's orchard. It's 3 a.m. And so he's late at night. You know, it shows his internal conflict. He wakes up in the middle of the night, and we see this soliloquy, of course. And so he does want to join the conspiracy. The conspirators arrive. They also want to kill Mark Antony, but Brutus wants nothing to do with that. He says, you know, guys, listen, if we kill Caesar, that's like killing the head of the snake. The rest of it doesn't matter. Okay. So, Brutus objects to killing Antony because he feels like Antony is ineffective without Caesar. And Portia is worried about her husband. We'll take a look at those graphics here in a minute. And so that's what we were doing. We saw these pictures. All right, this is Brutus and that's Portia. Here's Portia and Brutus. And we said, all right, which one best represents the text? Because as we were reading there later on in scene 1, we saw that Brutus wants to tell Portia nothing. He doesn't want her to know anything about this conspiracy. And so which of these 2 best portrays the actual text? Well, we said that it is this first picture, because as you can see here, there's a gap between the 2. All right. He is not letting her in on all the secrets. You know, they're husband and wife, but he won't tell her everything. You know, this shows an equality. Well, there's really not an equality in the relationship. Brutus says, no, I'm not going to let you in on everything. And so that's what we we saw in those pictures. Okay, one shows an equal relationship, the other shows that chasm. So then the rest of scene 2, of course, it is now the Ides of March, March 15th. Remember earlier in Act 1, the soothsayer said, hey, Caesar, watch out for March 15th. So there's continued thunder and lightning. And here we see Calpurnia, Caesar's wife, and Caesar's relationship with his wife. And Calpurnia had a dream that Caesar's blood would gush out of statues from the city. And so she convinces him not to go, but Decius, one of the conspirators, as planned, comes, persuades Caesar, basically calls him chicken if you don't go. And so the rest of the conspirators come. They arrive along with Mark Antony to escort him to the Capitol, because this is when the senators are going to formally crown him king for life, do what he kind of spurned from the people to build up political capital. And then, of course, scene 3 is Crazy Artemidorus. He is near the Capitol on a street as Caesar and his procession are coming towards the Capitol. He tries to warn Caesar. He has a letter, all right, telling him that, hey, there's an assassination. All these people are against you, Caesar. And this is, again, very much foreshadowing of what's to come. But he just spurns it. And then scene 4, Portia and the soothsayer are there, and Portia starts to recognize, oh, this is what Brutus is doing. And she hopes the conspiracy will concede. The soothsayer hopes to warn Caesar again to foil the plan, to stop the plan. And Portia, of course, wants to help Brutus. So we've been taking a look at direct and indirect characterization throughout this drama. We need to remember that indirect characterization is what a playwright uses the most. Right? Direct is when an author simply tells you exactly who a character is. Indirect characterization uses clues. You gain understanding based upon what the character does, what other characters say about that character, based upon their inner thoughts as well, like a soliloquy. And so we learn about who is Brutus. We learn from his own actions that he's tired, he's stressed, he's without sleep, wakes up in the morning at 3 a.m, right? We learn from his own words that he's honorable. Let's be sacrificers, but not butchers. That was the reason why he didn't want to take out Mark Antony. We learn from other people that he's wise, that he has an honorable plan. And we learn that he has an amazing wife who is so loyal to him that she gives a voluntary wound in her thigh. All right. And so we learned that Brutus has a loyal, trustworthy wife. So we take a look here at the study guide. Okay. This is what you need to turn in today. Okay. And again, I have that link there. That's very helpful. We're going to go through here some of the text evidence. So this is scene 1. And you can see here, Lucius discovers the letter. These are the lines 35 to 38, and then 56 to 58, kind of talks about the letter, O Rome, I make thee promise. Brutus like, yeah, if the redress will follow, meaning if we make the correction, then you will receive my full petition. You will receive all my loyalty, and I will go through with it. And then here are the lines where Brutus objects to killing Antony, talking about Antony is but a limb of Caesar. And again, I would encourage you to pause if you didn't get this text evidence. How does Brutus' soliloquy add to the drama? We talked about this. It portrays his internal conflict. It adds suspense. What's he going to decide? And it provides foreshadowing of what is to come. And again, pause and make sure you jot down those lines. Be comprehensive so you understand. We talked about scene 2. Here's how Calpurnia saw, in ranks and squadrons in right form of war, which drizzled blood upon the Capitol. All right. O Caesar, these things are beyond all use, and I do fear them. So it mentions about her terrible nightmare. And then Decius comes and says, hey, the dream is all misinterpreted. All right. Your statue spouting blood in many pipes. Oh, that's a good thing. You're reviving blood. You're going to revive Rome. And then we get scene 3, and this is pretty easy. This is the first 9 lines from Artemidorus, claiming that all these people are against. You need to be aware of Brutus, be aware of Cassius, be aware of Casca, and so forth. These people are against you. And really, we can infer that Artemidorus must have been, who knows, walking his dog at night when he sees all these people come to Brutus's house. Okay. Somehow, because remember, this is close to Brutus's house. The setting here is important. It allows us to infer, well, how did he figure this out? Well, he must have been out and about the streets, seeing the conspirators come to Brutus's house in the middle of the night. And then here's scene 4, as we talked about. Portia says, set a huge mountain between my heart and tongue, meaning don't let me let go of this secret that I have now figured out that Brutus didn't let me in on. right? And then we see here the lines from the soothsayer wanting to warn uh, Caesar. Okay, will crowd a feeble man almost to death? I'll get me a place more void, and there speak to great Caesar as he comes along, meaning I will have to find that spot so I can warn Caesar. So again, this is just going through a lot of the comprehension questions we already talked about. Brutus wants to kill Caesar because he believes if he's crowned king that he'd be too ambitious. All right. And of course, Cassius proposes the murder of Mark Antony. Brutus opposes it. Brutus believes Caesar is the head, and if they kill the head, the rest of the body will fall. Portia wants to know what is wrong, as we've talked about. And then, of course, Calpurnia persuades Caesar to stay at home, but that doesn't happen because Decius tells Caesar that he doesn't want to be perceived as weak. Calpurnia's dream was misinterpreted. And so as we compare the text, we've talked about this before. Of course, Portia is concerned for Brutus's well-being. And we already compared these texts. Again, feel free to pause or go back if you need to jot those down. Okay, so we're going to stop here. And then the next one we'll finish up in Edpuzzle to start Act 3. So finish this up and go ahead